Good evening, I'm Brianna Willis. Here's what's making headlines from across the county. The coroner's department has identified the man who ran from police early Wednesday morning before he was shot and killed in an exchange of gunfire. Officials say 33-year-old Jesus Aleman was a passenger in a Chevrolet Tahoe during a traffic stop around 12:15 a.m. Wednesday morning. Police say Aleman got out and ran towards Plans Park while an officer chased after him. Investigators say Aleman pulled out a gun and fired at the officer, who then returned fire. Sergeant Robert Parris says officers provided medical aid, but Aleman died at the scene. BPD says the officer was wearing a body-worn camera and that video will be released, quote, as soon as the investigation allows it. No one else was injured. The officer is on leave pending a shooting review. And the Bakersfield Homeless Center has added a women's dorm to its facility, providing 40 beds for single women. The beds were funded by the city of Bakersfield through homeless assistance and prevention, along with state funds that were allocated to various cities since 2018. This fiscal year, the city of Bakersfield was given $3.9 million from these funds, through which they gave $1 million to the center to build the new facility. However, these funds are not set to be renewed in next year's state budget.
This is the only homeless direct allocation that cities receive, is critical for the cities to continue to make progress on ending this homelessness crisis.
Mayors from across the state, including Mayor KERO, are set to speak with the governor next week to push for those funds in next year's state budget. Brandon.
And we've got busy signals on the radar here. We've got plenty of rain, even some thunderstorms just to the north of Kern County. There's the county line right there. That is going to slowly make its way toward us here. And we could see a couple of pop-up showers before that main line even gets here, which is going to be over the next several hours here. So some pop-up showers into the early evening, maybe even a rumble of thunder. And then most of that rain is going to be pushing in overnight into early Friday. So we're calling it about a 50% chance of rain on our Friday. Realistically, it's higher than that, but most of that rain is going to be falling very early in the day, probably before sunrise here. As we look at the forecast from there, our temperatures are on the rise into the 80s already by Sunday. 7-day forecast for our mountain communities. Again, that decent chance of rain, especially early in the day, clearing as we get into the weekend.
That's your latest news and weather update. For the latest update anytime, be sure to head to our website, turn23.com.